in my head or any space you can find. Glad to see that I can help make your life a bit easier. But have you ever thought of how I felt? You need to think about your behavior.
Hello, everybody. It is Sunday evening. And yes, it is time for another edition of Butch On Sports. Simply Butch's talking here. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you had a great weekend per se. I did. I did a lot. And I'll share some of that with you boys and girls here throughout the show here. Again, very warm, muggy, and somewhat in the beginning of the long weekend, starting with Thursday, it rained a little bit, but didn't bother a whole heck of a lot of us there. That we were just glad the sunshine was out, nice and warm and comfy. And exception for those who don't have air conditioning, woohoo! It was a very good weekend there. And again, hopefully you had a great weekend indeed here. Let's get to some sports news. And I have a whole heck of a lot of it because we're going to get to some things here, especially the NBA, but we'll be with that in a second. Let's start off with the Detroit Tigers. This weekend I spent my time at Comerica Park watching the Detroit Tigers up close and personal. It was their 84th, it was the 84th, Team 84, 1984 team that won the World Series here in Detroit. And as I explained to you, boys and girls, ladies and gents, I was not here during that time. I was on the left coast in Portland, Oregon. And it was kind of empty until I went down there this weekend and shared into some of the extravaganza that was going on. And it was all right. It was all right. The players there, and there were a lot who did show up there. Pretty good celebration there. Very hot day on Saturday where they actually gave tribute to the former players, coaches, and also some trainers and some bad boys that also showed up in the mix as well there. However, on that particular day on Saturday, they lost on Friday. On Saturday, you can tell the pressure was on. Somebody said something that we can't give the 1984 Detroit Tigers a loss. And they showed some grit on this particular day. I don't know what other days there, but this particular day on Saturday, they showed some grit. The Tigers had snapped an 8-game losing streak. They beat the National 7-5. Miguel Cabrera had 3 hits, 3 RBIs. The Tigers rallied twice in the game here. Twice to snap that 8-game losing streak with this particular victory they had against the Washington Nationals. However, some of the highlights of the game was some hustle, okay? Nicholas Castellanos hustling to catch a fly ball in right field, or should I say right center field. And I mean, this guy was humping it, okay, running. I had not seen that from Nick for a long while playing any field here, right field included there, but he was humping. So somebody said something that you got to give a little bit extra. But Jacoby Jones, the catch of the year for anybody in Major League Baseball, as I talked to a whole heck of a lot there, he snatched the ball, going almost, lifting himself over the fence in left center field, and snagging it off the bat of Victor Robles, keeping the Tigers in the play. And it kind of geeked the Detroit Tigers up to say, there's some hope in this land here. Yes, it was. That was a big key of this particular game there. I believe that particular play just spurred everybody up on the Detroit Tigers bench, and they gave some effort that you just can't deny that we like to see almost every single day that they play baseball here in Detroit, which we have not seen. Ron Gardenheimer was kicked out of the game again in the fourth inning, his seventh kick out of the year, his 87th of his career, boys and girls there. He is, you can't say he's not for his players, because I saw a strike thrown, and this guy went livid. I mean, and again, the pitch, you know, from all bearings, the little square they put on the monitors and everything there, it showed it was a strike, but the umpire called it a ball. And away Gardenheimer went. He was out of the game before any, enjoying the game, probably with a cool beverage and, yes, air conditioning in his office. As again, it was very hot on Saturday here. It was very, very warm indeed. But again, Detroit Tigers win the game there. And I don't know if what he said to his players before he went to the dugout or to his office after being kicked out of the game, but something went off. A fire alarm ticked. But the Detroit Tigers look like a team that not all that good, but again, a team that basically came on out there and gave an effort. I was glad to see it. All those commemorations, and you look like a bunch of clowns. It just didn't go right for me. And I've seen that too many times in other commemorations, I should say, throughout Detroit's commemorating certain players or teams. You know, and we have 4 majors in Detroit there, so you pick them. I've seen them there, the wins and the loss there. Max Scherzer, the day he pitched, he struck out 14 against his former team there, and Anthony Rendon hit a home run for the second straight game. He broke a 1-1 tie, and the Washington Nationals win the series 2-1. They beat the Detroit Tigers by a score of, 2-1. And after the game, it was announced the Detroit Tigers this July, they will be getting back starting tomorrow. Jordy Mercer is back from injury before Tuesday series that they'll be in Chicago to perhaps, hopefully, get some grease going there. Mercer signed a free agency last year in the offseason. He's one of the several injured veterans on the Detroit Tigers roster. He's missed nearly 8 weeks with a right quad strain, an injury originally he suffered in mid-April, and then re-injured it on May the 7th, aggravated while on rehab assignment, and thus we get to this point where he's not ready to play until July the 1st. Okay, so he will be back in the lineup, hopefully, to stay. Okay, the Tigers signed him to stabilize the middle of the infield, and he's a pretty good infielder. He's not that big of a hitter there, only hitting .206 for the Detroit Tigers there. He had 3 RBIs, 1 home run, and that's all you can say about it. If this guy is a big difference for the team to play better, well, so be it here. He is welcome back to the fray of the Detroit Tigers roster there. Now, Ronnie Rodriguez, for most of the part of May, he struggled defensively for the Tigers there. And some days he felt like a nut, some days he didn't. It got to the point where Nico Goodrum was playing every day as shortstop in June. Okay, so we about know that Detroit Tigers lost hope for that, but they kept him as a spare. He was put on waivers, okay? So you got the news in a nutshell about the Detroit Tigers and their particular team. Let's move on, boys and girls. The Detroit Pistons, today at 6 o'clock, can go after free agents there and start signing them there on the 6th. Detroit Pistons picked up veteran guard Derrick Rose, okay, and they signed him to a 2-year deal as per ESPN earlier, but was confirmed by someone close to the Pistons there. Of course, all deals made right now are not final till after the player signed, and that is after the 6th of July there. So Derrick Rose will be in the Pistons uniform. It's reportedly that he will be making $15 million for a 2-year contract. That's the report that we get from ESPN and all the other sources there. He was with the Timberwolves last year. He averaged 18 points, 4.3 assists per game. He shot 37% from three-point line or three-point range there, and a high percentage of true shooting at 55.7%. That is very good for a point guard there. And if he can improve the standards of how point guard play was last year, that is a huge, huge deal for the Detroit Pistons indeed there. Derrick Rose will be a welcome addition if he can do anything close to what he did in Minnesota the years past. Years before that, he has been injured off and on. Well, again, Derrick Rose is a choice and a very good player. He is from Chicago, so he's not too far from relatives and friends. Hopefully he'll like it here. Hopefully he will be a plus to Detroit Pistons that need to straighten out their point guard, particularly there, Mr. Smith, and other point guards with Detroit. Beware, because we'll see some changes, I'm quite sure, that's going to be made for that particular. Now, while we're talking about point guards and all the other good stuff, in particular there were a lot of deals being made. The biggest deal was Kevin Durant, and also Kyrie Irving will be signing with the Brooklyn Nets. So it's official, boys and girls. Came from the camp of Durant that he will be signing with the Brooklyn Nets. Big particular news was that the New York Knicks did not want to offer him a max deal, and we'll talk about that in a moment there, because many really, and quite a lot of the New Yorkers said that was stupid that they didn't want to do that. I think it was a pretty good doggone deal of the New York Knicks, that they had a lot of baggage that they had signed and just wasn't true. I can't blame them for not wanting to go on out and reach on out and sign a max deal for a player who will not be at service for them for probably the whole entire year. So there. Other deals that were made. Al Horford will be going to the Sixers. Tobias Harris signed a max deal with the Sixers. Okay? That was one of the big news there. Trevor Ariza, he'll be joining the Kings. Okay? Other news in particular there. Derrick Rose, he got a 3-year deal in sign and trade. He'll probably be traded to the what's that team there? The Charlotte Hornets. That's just one of the deals that were being made because Kemba Walker will be coming to the Celtics. That's another deal that was already signed, sealed, delivered. DeMarcus Carroll, he signed a 2-year deal worth $12 million. He'll be going to the Spurs. Other deals will have been made. A lot of talking and jib-jabbing has been going on there. There are many free agents out there, as many as 205 players who are free agents will be mocking and talking and signing. Okay, the biggest one was Kyrie, not Kyrie Leonard, but Mr. Leonard of the Toronto Raptors. Okay, and I personally don't feel he'll be going back to Toronto unless they throw out the stadium or something to him there. He is a West Coaster, true and blue, and I say he's going to go to the Clippers. So we'll just wait and see on that particular one. That has not been announced as of yet, but again, a lot of stuff being stirred on. You can go to the NBA.com, and they may not announce it personally and privately there. Again, all these deals cannot be official until actually the player signed on the dotted line, and I'm quite sure get some type of physical in order to get the job done. Indeed, there. So you got all the news with the NBA, and then some, and more news will upcome in the more days as these trades go on and on and on and on. It just got started today. I can't understand why baseball players got to wait 4, 5, 6 months to sign with a team as a free agent. And the NBA, when they open the doggone pearly gates up there, they get it done in a matter of seconds after 6 o'clock here. I'll never understand that. But, those are two different sports. Let's move on here, boys and girls here. If you have not heard, you're watching SmackDown or the WWE's Monday Night Raw, there will be some major changes being made. Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are back full-time with the WWE as Paul Heyman will be the executive director of Raw. He'll be handling the same duties that he has been doing, a focal point indeed, but again, his responsibilities have become greater. If you can remember, Paul Heyman was the actual inventor of the ECW in Philadelphia, and that spread it like wildfire throughout the United States there. And Eric Bischoff, yes indeed, he is back. Michigander indeed. Eric Bischoff is back. He'll be running SmackDown. If you guys don't know, in October, SmackDown will be moving to major network Fox, okay? And from Tuesday to Friday, indeed. So they want to get those two in circuit right quick, fast, in a hurry, because there's another wrestling organization that is going to be making some a lot of noise, and that's the AEW there, which is making a lot of noise because a lot of WWEers and Impact wrestlers and other indie wrestlers are going to this particular there, and once they get their TV contract in place, which we understand now they're going to the Turner Network, they have not made a date yet of when all this will be on television, but you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to try to be as competitive as I don't know what toward the WWE, and some of the wrestlers they have indeed will be very recognizable to the naked eye to you fans out there. So, and both of these particular individuals, Eric Bischoff as well as Paul Heyman, they report directly to CEO Vince McMahon and no one else there. So, indeed, there'll be some changes made. You'll hear about it, I'm quite sure, tomorrow on Monday Night Raw. And again, you will hear about it on Tuesday on SmackDown of the changes being actually made and being made official to the general public. If you have not read it in the newspaper or whatnot, or got to be, between the wires like I did, I just want you to know. Those are changes that are, I guess, protected changes, because these are two talented people, and I'm quite sure the EAW or the AEW has offered these gentlemen a partridge in the pear tree there, and maybe this is a preventive measure for, yes, Mr. Vince McMahon to not have to go through those funny bunnies there, because the last person who gave him a rush for his money and loss of mileage was Eric Bischoff when he was taking over the ECW there. They went ahead of the game for many weeks and a couple years, per se, before the WWE had to work themselves back in fruition toward you fans out there and watching them, okay? Really. Wrestling. I love it. Sad week, a lot of hockey was done in Detroit as far as the young kids concerned there. They had their red and blue game on Saturday. They had the 3-on-3 contest on Friday night there. A lot of the young kids that they drafted or else got through free agency or some other means by the minor leagues that they do hold, Toledo Walleyes, the Grand Rapids Griffins, and some of the players that the Red Wings have entitlement over, who skates for the OHL and other places there, or in Europe per se as well, got to come down and show their wits to the coaching staff, management, and others. It looked pretty good. It looked pretty good indeed. I got a little whiff of that when I was downtown this weekend going at the Little Caesars Arena while they were practicing and stuff there. That's pretty good deal. Sad day in the NHL as Roberto Luongo. Very nice guy here, and for the amount of time that I've been covering sports there, one of the good old guys. Of course, the more favorable people that I've ever got to interview has come out of the NHL. I don't mind saying that. Luongo, he played for the New York Islanders, the Florida Panthers, but a lot of his grit and grizzle came when he was playing with the Vancouver Canucks. He was very successful in his playing. He's also successful with the fans. Indeed, he has announced his retirement. He is done for his career. Okay, let's move on here for some other sporting events news. The USA, we're talking about the women, that is, in soccer. I don't want to say football. I'm going to say soccer. And we're in the USA. Is all set. They were at Tuesday at 3 o'clock, this upcoming Tuesday, Eastern Daylight Time. They will be playing England, okay? Yes, England, who has a 3-0 record in their regular competitive rounds and whatnot. Those are still there in the semifinal game. England against the United States, that's going to be a thriller, as both of them winners over last week. And on Wednesday, the Netherlands against Sweden. That's going to be a choker as well. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You can catch all those particular action. If you're not going to fly to Paris, France, or parts known through that area there, I had a lot of the friends that visit France, and I wanted to kind of figure it out. With soccer being played there, I don't know. I got to talk to them when I get some time here. But those are the 4 teams remaining, okay? Tuesday, Wednesday, they'll be taking care of business for who's going to represent on Sunday for the championship match. That's what's going to happen on that particular day next Sunday on July the 7th. That's going to be a barn burner indeed. Check yourself indeed, because that's going to be pretty doggone spooky there for, hold on to your hats there. United States got a battle with England there. That's going to be a pretty good one. Hopefully they will be representative on next Sunday when we talk, okay? Hopefully they will. What did I have to say here? I did have something. I did say about that Derrick Rose little thing on the issue there on the Detroit Pistons. I said a lot of good stuff there that needed to be said on this particular briefing of Butch On Sports there. Lashley, the winner of the Quicken Loans golf match in Detroit, Michigan. And also, let's congratulate the University of Michigan as well. They came home last week after losing in the third match last Tuesday. I believe I said something on Wednesday evening when I was on the air. The game was still going on. Looked like it was inevitable that they could catch up, but again, it's official now. University of Michigan, give an attaboy. They had a very good season there. Didn't get the crown, but whatever it may be. And the Quicken Loans, particular their match there, was pretty doggone good. Lashley won over $1 million. This was a guy who was an alternate and didn't get there till about 15 minutes before his name was called to start chugging away. Didn't even get a practice in. Won it by 21 under par. Congratulations to him. And hopefully next year will be a lot better, because I've heard a lot of things. We'll talk about it Wednesday on the show when we get a chance to kind of trundle along. Another thing I want to kind of mention there, on the Detroit Tigers celebration of 1984 Detroit Tigers championship, one person was not seen or was invited, from what I understand, and that was Rod Allen. Rod Allen is a member of the 1984 Detroit Tigers championship team. However, was not in the audience with the other former players that he was endured in before he was an announcer or color commentator for Fox Sports in Arizona and ended up moving to Detroit. And the big brouhaha that happened last year that got him fired and released from that particular. The answers and things I got from others was they didn't want a distraction. You know what? What kind of distraction could be dealt with? I don't think his job should have any doggone thing to do, and his firing should have anything to do with him not being commemorated and being part of that 1984 team. Shame on you, Detroit Tigers, for not inviting that man down here. He is a class guy. There was an a method that the two people that they did fire last year on Fox have been going after it for quite some time. So Fox knew about it, and it was just a matter of time before it brewed up to a head, which it did, and both got released. However, that shouldn't take away from Rod Allen's placement with the 1984 Detroit Tigers team in general. Shame on you, Detroit Tigers, for not inviting that guy back to Detroit to be with his former teammates and to be able to stand up and be commended for the job that and the chip-in that he did for that particular team. You know, not to invite that man sends a dirty message about the organization of the Detroit Tigers. And it is not he will be a distraction. You know, all he has to say is, I'm not going to talk about my recent departure from Fox Sports. I'm here to celebrate with my teammates the '84 championship that truly was something that I was part of an accomplishment before I even became a color commentator. So, you know, come on, boys and girls, ladies and gents, let's get real. That was not a class act. He should have been invited to Detroit to enjoy just as much as all the players they invited, and let him be out there in the 90-degree heat as well here. That's what I say. That's what I say. What, you know, come on. I've heard all kinds of excuses in my day. That was the biggest one. I got a big laugh on that one this weekend. Butch On Sports is a presentation of Oh My Darling Productions there. You can enjoy Butch On Sports on Facebook. Go to Butch On Sports on Facebook and get a good brew of Butch On Sports. You can also go to Podomatic.com. Type in, when you get to this website, type in SIMPLYBUTCHTOO.Podomatic.com. Also part of the game, and I will say that my condolences to the Nason family and family members. Our fearless leader, Scott Nason, lost his grandma, and we're very saddened of that there. And indeed, we wish Scott our condolences, and if there's anything he needs, personally, I let him know what can be done. So we won't be on the game this week on Monday there. So, got a big surprise, but we'll tell you next week, okay? I've got to hold it up for another week here. Hey, have a great, great week, boys and girls. Don't get in trouble. Butch On Sports is a presentation again of Oh My Darling Productions.